Okay, straight in with the intro. Has that been there before? Where it like there's like a kind of glitchy thing and it cut to like what look like ropes and things, like almost someone bound, imprisoned? Is that just something I haven't noticed? Also, be sure to check out the Patreon page where you can find next week's episode right now, along with some Ghibli reactions. Let's see this breakup. I don't know how long the prequel portion of this season actually is. 1 year later. Wow, okay. Practicing his techniques. Oh, yeah. So you can pick and choose what goes through and what doesn't. Okay, that makes sense. Because if it was always on, he wouldn't be able to actually pick objects up, would he? Look at that hand animation, Mappa showing off. Domain expansion and teleportation. Yeah, it's so strong. Yeah. Look at his eyes. Bags under his eyes as well. Looks tired. Is it taking the toll on him, the absorption? It's absorbing evilness, negativity. Oh, doesn't feel appreciated. I just want to feel appreciated.
I just want to be appreciated.
Oh. Dude, this makes seem cheeked up.
Double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon.
Oh, there it is, yeah. Starting to call them monkeys. The flip. Putting Gojo in front of himself, getting what Gojo would want. He's energized by it, but Geto isn't, yeah. Okay. Of course he wouldn't trust his judgment if he thinks bad of himself, yeah. Refusing to answer the question. Obviously, it's men with white hair. Ooh. Rebelling together, maybe? Get them from the source. How'd you do that? So if there's no humans, is that why he wants to get rid of humans so curses can't exist as well? He calls them monkeys because they're the origin of curses, really. Curse energy dropped to 0, okay. When was this though? In between his death and their fight? Yeah, so if every human could control their curse energy, then curses wouldn't be born. So much information the subtitles are going through so fast, I might have to rewatch this. But also... Yeah, there we go. He's taken the other option. That is possible. She didn't entertain it actually, wow. Would they then become scared of sorcerers, though, and that just creates another curse? a cursed spirit that's the fear of sorcerers.
わからない
Because they all like align to something, you know.
死を守るためにあると
Jogo is like natural disasters. Funny, the rain almost sounds like the clapping. You know, the clapping that he heard before.
星漿体のことは気にしなくていい。あ
Oh,
の時もう一人別の星漿体がいたか。
yeah, there was another candidate. Okay.
どちらにせよ、天元は安定しているよ。
Confirming that Tengen is stable. At least for the time being. I don't know how long he has to keep cycling through the bodies. I guess it's the lifespan of a regular person.
今はとにかく休めナナミ任務はサトルが引き継いだ
Wow. Yeah, it was him.
術師というマラソンゲーム
We didn't get much of him. I can't honestly. I can't even remember his name. I had it earlier in the episode. That's part of Nanami's backstory. Was thinking something must happen to him. Obviously, we never see him in the future, and we see him hanging out with Nanami in the OP.
村人をたびたび襲うのです。
事件の原因はもう私が取り除きました
私の孫もこの二人。
Yeah, seeing the evil of humanity.
あなたたちの親もそうだった。
But that's turning into curses, or is that just metaphorical saying that?
どちらを本音にするのかは。
皆さん
Oh,
一旦外に出
yeah. He's chosen a path. One of the lights has died out. He released something. Oh, I love the art style on him. Like, that was still to avenge those two kids. 112 killed. Okay. Sentenced to death. That was just what pushed him over the limit. Yeah, if it was like maybe to defend the two kids, just those two people that were there saying they were the cause. But that was the whole village he burnt down. Wow.
ただ結婚と財から、おそらく両親も手にかかる。サトル。
Of course, Gojo doesn't believe it. Thinks maybe he got in a fight with a curse that was really powerful. He's got blamed for the collateral. That'd be your first go-to. Smoking? Yeah.
いるかいいや
But you're happy now.
冤罪だったりする？
ないね残念ながら
重ねて一応。なんで？
Yeah, she's acting quite chill about it.
あ、五条？ゲートいたよ。
Gojo hasn't got his teleportation yet because he wasn't there right away. I thought he might have just immediately shown up.
親も親だけ特別というわけにはいかないだろうそれにもう私の家族はあの人たちだ
Yeah, no exceptions. Wow.
大義ですらある
ええよ非術師殺して術師だけの世界を作る
There's the KFC.
君は五条悟だから最強なのか最強だから五条悟なのだよ
What makes him the strongest?
この馬鹿げた理想も地に足がつくと思わないか
Because Gojo can do the impossible, he believes in it.
あとは自分にできることを精一杯やるさ
Yeah, didn't even want to fight. He's just gone.
殺したければ殺せそれには意味がある
Might be too many people around there as well.
俺だけ強くてもダメらしいよ俺が救えるのは他人に救われる準備があるやつだけだ
Yeah, mental strength and physical strength, two different things.
提供は解体されたはずだが
別の団体でも根っこは同じさ。表向きは居抜きみてえにしてるがな。
Oh, he's got, yeah, his costume that he always wears now.
本当にその格好で出るのか。
いいだろうはったりは大事だ
Oh, are these the two girls we see? Yeah, yeah. No, we've seen them a bit older, haven't we? On their phones.
困りましたねそうだ
Just gonna wipe them all out.
さて改めて猿は嫌い私に従え
Yeah, you either obey me or get killed.
めぐみくんだよね
Ooh,
あんた誰？
when they first meet.
ところで君のお父さんさ、全員っていう呪術師の家系なんだけど、僕が低レベルのろくでなしで
Being quite upfront about everything.
全員家は才能大好き。術式を自覚するのが大体
He reminds me of Killer a bit like this.
ムカつくでしょ。で、そのお父さんなんだけど、僕が
別に。あいつが
He was about to tell him he killed him.
君、本当に小一？
Yeah, had to mature quickly.
積み木は幸せになれるのか？それ次第だ。
ない。100% ない。それは断言できる。
Suddenly got serious, yeah.
強くなってよ。僕に置いていかれないくらい。
Hmm.
先生も寝るんだな。
当たり前でしょ。
Okay, okay. Back in modern day, or the main timeline. Okay, so that was Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Episode 5. We were posed a really interesting question here by this new character, this blonde girl. I don't think we got her name. Although, for some reason with JJK, I'm quite bad with names. I was introduced to Haibara this episode and already forgot his name, but at the end of the episode, and then had to look it up. But I feel so stupid. She's Todo's mentor, of course, when she says, "What's your type in women?" as she approaches. I don't know how I didn't clock that. Wow. Yeah. Not a new character, Todo's mentor. Just interrupting after I made that realization while editing. I can't believe I missed that. Whatever. She's come along and she's come with this quite interesting concept actually of tackling things at the root, looking at the cause of things instead of just treating the symptoms, which in general is like an idea I can get behind, but obviously Geto's rationalization, his solution that he's come up with there is not a good one. Yeah, kill all the humans, then curses won't exist because curse energy comes from like the fear from humans and like evilness from humans. It makes sense as a way to take things out at the root, but I mean it's obviously flawed because they're doing this in the first place to protect humans. If curses and humans are all gone, or for curses to all be gone you have to get rid of all the humans, what's the point? You've just kind of created a world without humans. You just created a world as it was, you know, a few billion years ago before humans evolved, I guess. Which I guess is just like a little bit of like a nature argument or something. Seeing humans as like a virus in a way. Yeah, that's kind of a common trope. And I was thinking about that more, about how you can stop cursed spirits being created in the first place. And, you know, so this blonde girl, her solution was train everyone to be sorcerers because sorcerers don't form cursed spirits, which I wonder why. It's just because they can control the cursed energy that they produce, because like a human would just give off, like if they've got some fear or some like evilness, they give off like a bit of cursed energy. We saw that kind of random civilian guy glowing, but a sorcerer would be able to control that. I assume that's how that would work, but of course that involves training everyone up, which would be a difficult task to get the whole planet on your side like that. And especially with like Geto's plan, in the meantime you're probably going to be making more curses and more powerful curses as you are going along, because you're creating more fear as you are killing all of these humans, aren't you? Because for him, he would have to be killing humans and curses simultaneously. I guess, you know, after you get past a certain threshold of humans still alive, the curses start to lose their power and die off too, which is an awful thing to think about, but I guess that's how that would work. But then I was also thinking of tackling this at its root, because, you know, the cursed spirits, they kind of come from fear. How would you maybe create a society without fear? And I feel like that's kind of impossible, really. It's this kind of argument that utopia is dystopia, because to create a world without fear would probably mean creating a world without free will, where people would be entrapped or propagandized to not believe in fear, or maybe not have a way to articulate fear. So I think no matter what, I don't know if there is actually a solution that works fully. I guess the blonde girl solution is best, just teaching people maybe just a baseline level of sorcery where they can control the cursed energy they produce. But that is a massive undertaking to be able to teach that and spread the word across the world, you know, and probably would get some pushback, people denying the existence of it. I don't know in this world kind of how informed the general public are. I guess they do know about curses and stuff because they see the repercussions of it, but we never really get that perspective, do we, of like the general public. I guess we do get some non-sorcerer opinions because we were introduced to like some of the different groups and cults earlier on this season, so that's like a little bit of insight. But kind of the general person, how much do they think about it on a daily basis? Are they seeing these like tragedies and that's making them more fearful again? It's kind of like a spiral of them becoming more fearful as more tragedies happen, and then the curses get stronger because of that, you know? And that was a really interesting conversation and a lot to think about on that point specifically, the tackling things from the root cause. Even though a lot of what she was saying was very quick and I didn't catch all of it, especially when she was talking about Toji, because Toji himself, he has no curse energy, but he could still perceive them. How does that work? And then we had Haibara, who we only had a little bit of really before his death. I don't know if the title Premature Death was in relation to him. It didn't feel like that was too much of the focus here, but it could maybe also be about this massacre that Geto went on later on, but we'll get into that. But Haibara, you know, we're introduced to him. We see he's got quite a fun, likable personality, and then just like that, you know, in this show it can be brutal. They're not afraid of killing off characters or seriously injuring them. And I know there's maybe a bit of a reputation later on. I don't know any like specific things, but I've heard rumblings about how brutal the show can be later on as well and into the manga. Although I will say the kind of reverse curse energy stuff that was introduced earlier on here, I don't know if that takes away a bit of weight here, because like the injuries Gojo had a few episodes ago, you know, if I saw any of the other characters get really bad injuries like that, I'd maybe start to think, oh, maybe they're not dead because we've seen Gojo recover. Obviously we know Gojo is the top of the top, but maybe we could see some recovery there then. It seems like Haibara's death here was definitely definitive though. We haven't seen him in season 1 at all. I had already had this assumption from just the opening from the OP that this would be his fate. We see him hanging out with Nanami in the OP. We've barely seen much of him, to be fair, but we're seeing the effect of his death on Nanami, even though it kind of happened off screen, and that did impact Geto a bit as well. Geto was already struggling. You just see around his eyes especially was where it was really, you could see the impact of everything on him, what he was dealing with recently. But I think it will be interesting knowing this little bit of backstory for Nanami, just observing Nanami in the future, see how he is. I want to see how that death impacts him. Not saying that Haibara was only there for plot, as a plot device or as development for a character, but I think that does make it interesting and also explains a bit why Nanami is so protective over the students. I think it does provide some cool insight into Nanami himself. I want to see a bit more, perhaps, of how that impacted him, because we only got a little sliver of it this episode. And then this massacre Geto went on. At first, I wouldn't say it's excusable, but it's explainable. I thought it would just be the two people who had locked up the girls. I thought it would just be that, as like obviously killing of humans taboo, duh. But I thought it would just be that. I didn't realize, I didn't even cross my mind that it would be the whole town. And obviously then it's innocent people. Obviously we already knew the plan, the ideology, what he was building up to there of getting rid of all humans. So it's not a stretch, but it's just completely inexcusable. I was surprised by Shoko's kind of chillness when she bumped into him. I guess she knows that she's a sorcerer, so maybe she's a bit safe, but maybe she wouldn't have known his ideology at that point. But I still was shocked by, her chillness. I guess she didn't see any threat there. She didn't get anything from him that he was really threatening. And of course, Gojo just doesn't believe what's happening at all. I assume you'd rationalize it as, there was some collateral damage. He had to fight a curse or something, had to fight someone, and that's what happened. But no, it was just all him burning down this village. And then again at the end you see the two girls with him who we have seen before. We've seen them when they're like teenagers, right? Again, names in the show, I'm not sure if we even have names for them yet, or if it's just slipping my mind, but we kind of see them texting and being very stereotypically like teenage girls, blowing bubble gum, that kind of vibe. So that would explain a bit why they're like on Team Geto. He's saved them before. And I think a lot of the stuff that's happening here in this kind of prequel section of the season is making me want to rewatch Jujutsu Kaisen 0. It's just adding so much context, so much to these characters that I kind of want to go back and give it a rewatch just to catch all of the nuance of things, and with this like updated information that I have too, we see Geto go into like this conference room and he's got the microphone, and obviously another massacre occurs. This one, it felt more brutal, in the village when he burns down the village. It felt quite detached. It was more focused on him as a character. We just had those flashes, those kind of zoom ins on him himself and how this is affecting him. This being like the moment he switches and his first like attack on humanity. But this second one, it was much more gleeful. He had a smile on his face while he was doing it. And it was much more violent, kind of. Although we still didn't see the people he was attacking, it does feel a little bit detached from the humanity of it, I guess. It's more brutal, we see this thing they had summoned and there's the big splatters of blood, That one felt more brutal. And then, of course, we have the iconic breakup scene outside the KFC. I know that's a real KFC that exists somewhere. I guess in Shinjuku, because it was in Shinjuku there that they were. The confrontation and then Gojo not being able to kill. Obviously, later on. Actually, I'm trying to remember. Obviously, we see a death from Geto in Jujutsu Kaisen 0. I really can't remember how it got to that. Was it Yuta or was it Gojo who actually... I remember the conversation as Geto was like dying, and Gojo was there having a conversation with him, but I can't actually... No, it must have been Yuta who did like the big finishing blow, because he kind of not sacrificed Rika, but Rika sacrificed herself and everything. That big kind of conclusion there was against Geto. So it wasn't Gojo who did it. So we don't know if Gojo actually has it in him further in the future. Yeah, I just want to rewatch Jujutsu Kaisen 0 now, actually, so I can re-update myself with exactly everything happening there. Because Gojo didn't have it in him to kill Geto at that point, would he have it in him now? I'm not sure still. Obviously, at this point, he thinks he's dead. The reveal of Geto being back will be interesting too, definitely. Gojo running into him again. The reaction there, will Gojo, immediately try and kill him again? Or will he be so stunned that he can't act? There's a lot of possibilities there. And then right at the end there, we see little Megumi Gojo going to recruit him, saying he's got a few options, you know, he's kind of Jujutsu High or go to the Zenin clan, and he is like kind of living alone with this other character, already forgetting the names again, who's like same age, like middle schooler, same age, whatever it is in Japan, and her parents have now left and maybe aren't coming back, so he's had to mature very fast, fending for himself. We see that comment from Gojo saying, wow, is he really this age? But it seems like it wasn't immediate, his recruitment into Jujutsu High. Obviously, Jujutsu High is only for high schoolers, so that makes a bit of sense there. And Gojo was ready to tell him he had killed Toji, but that was just not something Megumi cared about, and he interrupted. So I don't think Megumi actually knows. Maybe he did, and Gojo told him after. Maybe we'll see Gojo telling him. But we also saw, you know, that flip when Megumi asked about the Zenin clan, the sudden flip to seriousness from Gojo, saying, no, you definitely won't be able to see this girl again, you know. Gojo knows what the Zenin clan are like. And Megumi was like surprisingly accepting of everything. At that point, I don't know how much he knows. Gojo did hit him with the line talking about this thing, obviously you probably can see cursed spirits at this point, because Gojo kind of referenced that, saying, oh yeah, there's things you can see, right? I don't know if Gojo is like the first person to reveal that there are other like sorcerers around, other people who can perceive what he sees. So maybe that's why he listened a bit more. He kind of felt a bit seen there. That's probably a common recruitment method from Jujutsu High. And then I wonder, are we fully back in modern day now? Right at the end, we had that jump and we saw Yuji and Obara and Megumi together talking to Gojo. So I assume that's signifying a jump back to modern day. It'd be nice to catch up with some of the characters from season 1 that we haven't got to see yet, and get into what I assume is like the real meat and potatoes of the season, the modern day stuff, because these flashbacks have been really cool, but obviously we already kind of know the outcome. We know certain characters will and won't get out of it alive, obviously. The stakes are kind of less. It's more emotional stakes here, seeing the falling out of Geto and Gojo. But I know the rest of the season is the Shibuya arc, which is quite infamous. Lots of people have said how great of an arc it is, but also the brutality of it. I kind of know, as I referenced earlier, I am expecting a lot of casualties, maybe some deaths of characters that we really love. And I think it'd be cool, I don't know how long the arc will be, if it's like the whole rest of the season, the next 20 episodes, that'd be really cool, because we haven't had a kind of big arc yet. We've had a lot of arcs in season 1, but they were smaller, you know, 3-4 episode arcs, which I think works for an initial season, but later on in the show, getting into some chunkier arcs, I think will be really cool as well. I've just heard really good things about the Shibuya arc. Probably, you know, not on the same level as the Chimera Ant arc, but the Chimera Ant arc is much older, but already it sounds like a classic from the amount of praise it's been getting. Hopefully that's not, you know, just recency bias, but I definitely am excited to get into that. So I think that's everything for this episode. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and check out the Patreon where you can get next week's episode right now. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you later.